another station I don't understand. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yeah, baby. What day is it? It's Football Friday in the doghouse. It's been a minute since we ran this one out there. We do got an 8-day game, you know what about. It's not really a game, but suppose you got the XFL and the USFL over the weekend. Oh, yeah, baby. Football Friday in the Doghouse means football music all throughout the show. That little ditty right there, for those of you that are the great unwashed. That is your original 1970 Monday Night Football music. That's right. It's not some video game show music. That's not The Price is Right or anything like that. I mean, that is the original Monday Night Football music as performed by the London Philharmonic. I mean, it's excellent stuff right there. I think that's true. You know what? I don't even know if that's true. I don't know who recorded the original Monday Night Football music. It is Football Friday in the dog. Why don't I play it on Mondays? Yeah, maybe I should play that on Mondays this fall. You know, the Monday Night Football, the original Monday Night Football music. I don't know. We got a little NASCAR kicker for you today. With Digga on tap for this weekend. Or is that Digga? I always get harassed about this. You know, I've lived here now going on 19 years. Well, it's 19 years right now. I've lived in the Tennessee Valley for 19 years, and I get harassed every year about this thing. I call it Dega because, you know, everybody calls it Dega. Unless it's is it Talladega? I mean, do we call it Talladega or do we call it Talladega? When they did the movie, isn't it Talladega Nights or was it Talladega Nights? I never hear anyone say Talladega. So we don't have a Digafecta for you today. We got a Dagafecta for you. That's right. We got a Dagafecta for you. Oh, look, we have the Bama spring game covered with Joey Blackwell at BamaCentral.com. What, do you think I'm going to have you pick? Wait a minute. Let me turn this light on the camera. There we go. What am I going to do? Have you picked crimson or white? I mean, is that what you want? I'm going to pick crimson or white? No, we're not going to do that. Yes, we know that there is a spring game. Yes, we know that somebody will be eating beans. Somebody will be eating steak. Somebody will be eating beans.
Under no circumstances will I be eating beans on Monday.
No, he won't be eating beans on Monday. He'll eat with the winning team. And there'll be no tie. There's not going to be a tie in the Alabama 8A game. That doesn't happen.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States, heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
Everybody's not getting steaks. Like Saban said, there's no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there are no ties, and I won't be eating beans.
Under no circumstances will I be eating beans on Monday.
It will not be a tie. We had the spring game covered with Joey Blackwell at BamaCentral.com today at the top of the one. But I want to get you guys a nice prize. I mean, I want to get you a really nice prize. Next Friday, I'll be doing a show from the shores of Guntersville Lake. So I want to put up an overnight stay at the lodge at Guntersville State Park. That's right, I said it. An overnight stay at the lodge at Guntersville State Park for the best 3-car team from Sunday's Geico 500 at Talladega. I mean, you want the betting favorites? I got them for you. You know, it all begins with the Ford Mustangs of Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Chase Elliott's Chevy is high on the list. Denny Hamlin's Toyota is the highest-ranked Toyota on the list. Bubba Wallace is one here in a rain-shortened deal as well. Kyle Larson will be in play as always. Ross Chastain won there last year. You can give me the card numbers. You can say, give me the 11, the 48, and the 24. Or you can give me names, and we will get you in. And you could do it on the phone lines, or you could do it on the text window. To get your Dega picks in, your Dega-fecta picks in, you can call right now, 256-576-4977, or you can hit the text window up at 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. The information is shown at the Twitter feeds, at Tom Abraham Show, at 97.7 ESPN. They're posted there. Maybe the Facebook has it at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there on Twitter and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on Twitch and YouTube on WZZN TV. You'll notice that I am actually in the Big Dog Production studio today after a very long week. Now, it's a very, very long week of just kind of meandering around the market. Today, back in the Big Dog Production studio. I did shows everywhere, it felt like. We were out at Cherokee Ridge. Then we were in the palatial downtown studios of the Zone on Tuesday. Wednesday, we blew up the ballpark at Toyota Field. We did 20 minutes out there before the power went down. Yesterday, we were at Alumni Hall. Today, we're in the Big Dog Production studio. All right. Coming up in a few minutes, former Auburn defensive back Brock Campbell will join us, along with his brother Colby Campbell. They own Flow Trampoline Park off Drake, and we have a great zone deal for you there as we speak. And I say that, and I don't know, it looks like there are about 15 remaining. We sold a bunch of this morning. There's about 15 remaining to Flow. It's really Flow Supreme Air Sports. You know, when you say Flow Trampoline Park, Trampoline Park, Supreme Air Sports. Now you're talking. It's a great place to take the family or yourself for some indoor fun. It's a lot more than just trampolines. Trampolines are pretty cool there, though. I got to tell you that. You get $50 at Flow for just 25 beans. Now, down at Flow, a hour-and-a-half session is $22. A 2-hour session is $25 for an adult. All right, 2 hours for $25. For ages 7 and up, I shouldn't say adult. Ages 7 and up is $25. So basically what you're getting is 2-hour sessions for the price of one. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Buy a couple of those, take the fam, you get it for half price. You can play their cool putt-putt courses over there. You play the whole putt-putt course for $10. So you spend $25, you get a $50 voucher for Flow. You could take 5 people and go play putt-putt in a really cool indoor, black light lit, putt-putt course. It's very cool. Now, we're going to get Brock's take, too, as a former college football player. We'll get Brock's take on how the players view these spring games as well. Now, remember, to get your Dega picks in, you call or hit the text window. Give me your 3-car team. It's very simple. You don't have to have the winner. But if your 3 cars finish, 3rd, 5th, and 7th, then your total number is 15. That's your grade for the race. You might have first, but you might have a guy that crashed out in the big one, and you might have first and 30th. You're screwed. That's the way it works. Did I mention what I'm giving you? I am giving you the Lodge at Gunnersville State Park. Overnight stay, and we're going to throw in a $30 voucher to the Pinecrest Room. This is a $190 value, $190 prize. We're not screwing around for this deal. By the way, get our apps, will you? Make sure you got the apps. You need all the apps. You got the Havoc in Birmingham tonight down in Pelham to start that series off. We'll have that on Zone 4 for you. We got Alabama baseball right here. We got the Braves. You need to have our apps so you can hear all of this stuff. It looks like the Oakland A's are on the move again to Las Vegas after the team bought land there to begin a stadium project. This will be city number 4 for the A's, which I think is a record in professional sports. City number 4. The A's were charter members of the American League in 1901 as the Philadelphia Athletics. In 1955, they moved to Kansas City. In 1968, they moved to Oakland. A team in baseball hasn't relocated since 2005 when the Expos moved to Washington to become the Nationals. Now, Washington had the Senators twice. 2 times. 2 they had the Senators. Not 1, 2. 2. The original Senators moved to Minnesota to become the Twins in 1961. And then in 1972, the second time they had the Senators, they moved to Texas, to Dallas, to become the Texas Rangers.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Of course, the Braves began as the Boston Braves, then went to Milwaukee, and then to Atlanta. So the Braves, they've been in 3 cities, as have the Athletics right now. But when the Athletics make this move, I think this is a record. I really do. I'm not kidding. In all sports, I really do. All right, over there in that little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answer the phones a little large and in charge on a Friday, it's DJ Grizzly Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a polish.
Brilliant! I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the time roll.
Down goes Grissom.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Grizz, who were the Boston Bean Eaters? Is that what they were before they were the Boston Braves? Who were the Bean Eaters? That's Moulton is sending me Boston Bean Eaters.
I think so. I know that like before, I think it was Atlanta became the Atlanta Braves. They were the Atlanta Crackers. That was their minor league team. I know
the minor
that.
league team.
Yeah, that was the team before Atlanta. They had come to Atlanta to be the Braves. Yeah,
Crackers.
Yeah, the Atlanta Crackers. Yeah, that was.
My God.
Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4RIGHTS.
Why are we playing commercials?
Hey, it's
I don't need an attorney right now. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
the
there's a
Alabama
message there.
update for today. That's the
Turn
that's
that
the ID.
down.
I had the pot up, so the Alabama ID played. No, give me. By the way, in this race, give me Martin Truex, William Byron, and Chase Elliott.
19. You want William Byron, 24, and Chase Elliott, 9. Be careful with Martin Truex. He has not ever done well at these. At these play tracks.
That's my guy nowadays. Like I don't really have a racer, but if I picked any of them out of them, I
love Martin Truex, and I love that he's sponsored by Bass Pro Shops.
Yes,
but he drives a Toyota, and I just can't get my arms around Toyota. You know what I mean? And I know people say, "What are you talking about, Dr. Maynard here in Alabama?" Yeah, and the money goes to Japan. Okay, they're made in Alabama. The money goes to Japan.
Yeah,
I want the money in Detroit. Your Ford was made in Canada. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But the money went to Detroit. Okay, all right. So that's where I'm at, on that deal. So I can never pick the Toyotas. They're pouring in though on the text window. The picks are coming in hot and heavy.
NASCAR fans out there. I did pick
Yeah,
two
but they don't
Fords,
like
though.
calling.
I did
It's
pick two
weird, they
Fords,
don't call.
though.
Did you take two Fords?
Yeah, I did take two Fords, though.
I'll have all 3 Woody Anderson
All
Ford
Fords.
Mustangs. No, there's no doubt. I will take Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and I'd say Kevin Harvick as my sleeper, but they've struggled.
Actually, I was wrong. I didn't take any. I took 2 Chevys. I just
Two
realized that.
Chevys
I
and
took
a Toyota. You didn't take any Woody
I didn't take
Anderson
any
Fords.
I didn't take any Fords. I'm going the opposite today.
Bad move by you.
Yeah, I know. I
Blaney,
took 24.
Logano.
I took 24 because my mom was a big Jeff Gordon fan for so many years. Got to take that 24 car.
He's not driving that
I know it's not
anymore.
Jeff Gordon anymore, but I like William Byron. I like some of these young drivers.
I want to take Harv, but he's way down the list in terms of favorites. He's like plus 3,000. But hey, it's Dega. So is it Dega? Is it Dega? It's Dega.
It's
or
Dega.
Is it Dega?
Yeah, it's Dega.
It's Dega. As far as I'm
Talladega Nights.
concerned, it's
Yeah.
Dega. What's a Talladega Nights?
It's Talladega. Yeah, Dega.
Let me get. So my understanding is that you're going to get Brock Campbell and his brother Colby on at the same time. Is that correct?
Apparently, yes.
You have this skill? Do you have this ability?
I have. I've been capable of this skill. I've been taught this skill from some wise individuals in this radio business.
All right. I got more team movement for you. I'm going to give you. I got more team movement that I'll give you throughout the show today because that's a little bit of a theme. But let me get Wolverine Dan in here so I can get his picks in. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I finished making my spare golf bag for my brother-in-law when he comes into town because I got my old bazookas out of my bag and I got me a set of Ping G2s, baby.
Nice, G2s. All right, good job by you.
Yeah,
What's a
I
bazooka?
hit 'em,
I don't even know what a bazooka.
Nice, straight, stiff shaft. I mean, I that's how Carson built them back in the day. He didn't believe in a flex, and he went stiff. I'll tell you what, man, I told you last time I played, right down the middle.
Yeah.
Got a real good number. These clubs here are even straighter than the ones I hit before.
You're kind of old though to have a stiff shaft. I'm just saying, you know what I mean. You probably should be going with a little.
Come on, man! I showed up.
There we go, a
last
little
night.
limper. Yeah. Should go with a little
Come
limper
on,
stance.
now. I'm not. Hey, I'm an athlete, man. I'm working out. I got my shirt off. I'm out gardening right now. Women are going nuts.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
I know
right,
they're screaming. They're heading for the hills.
Come on, Tom. You ought to see me. I'm cut, man. I'm almost 200 pounds now.
Wow.
Yeah,
that would be
I was
nice.
right. I lost.
I wish I was
40
200 pounds. I haven't been 200 pounds since 1987. I want to.
You know?
I would be happy to be 220. That's my goal. Is get to 220.
Intermediate fasting, and you already do one thing already. You do the Metamucil like I do every day. Intermediate fasting, and then go ahead and just eat from 12 to 7. That's it, man. You don't eat nothing in the morning.
I gotta have breakfast. The most
don't,
important
man.
meal of the
Just
day.
skip it.
Breakfast. I can't eat 12 to 7. I'm on the air 12 to 2. What am I going to eat? Now I'm down to 2 to 7.
Well, come on. You know what? Bottom line is this: less time to eat, more time to lose weight. So
what is the definition of intermediate fasting? 1 day a week, a half a day, in between meals?
Every day, dude. I won't eat. I'll eat at
every
12
day.
o'clock.
How could you fast every day?
I do. Intermediate fasting. I eat at 12, okay? And then I don't eat till dinner, which is small. I cut out the desserts. I don't do the booze. And then...
is it really fasting if you just don't eat in between meals?
No.
Oh.
So I'll eat his breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. And I tell you, man, I'm shedding like crazy. I'm feeling it, man. My shirts I'm bulging. I got my biceps are humongous. I've been working my ass off. I'm sorry, my butt
I thought
off.
you're supposed to eat like small meals all day long. I heard that you eat like 5 or 6 meals a day, and they're small meals. That's the way you're supposed to do it. You're going with 2 meals a day.
Let me put it to you this way: I'm losing weight like crazy, and I'm feeling really good, Tom. Okay.
All right, give me your team for Dega.
Well, I'm going to do Elliott, Chase Elliott. I like that one.
You got him.
And I like Joey Logano. I like
the
that
22.
one. And then that Ryan Blaine. What does he drive again?
12 Ford Mustang.
A Ford. Ooh, I'm going to do the Ford.
He's Ryan.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Joey Chevy is Chase what? Ford?
No, Joey is Ford too. Joey and Ryan Blaney are teammates. They're both in Woody Anderson Ford Mustangs. Chase is in a Chevy. Yeah.
Okay. I'd rather pull a Chevy or a Ford or drive a freaking Japanese Toyota, whatever that is.
Yeah.
All right.
No
America,
Toyotas.
man.
You got no Toyotas.
Stars
Yeah.
and stripes, brother. Stars and stripes.
I hear
Go
you.
blue. See you.
All right. It's a good job by you. All right, let's get a break in here. When we return, all right, let's talk to Brock Campbell, former defensive back for Auburn, and one of the proprietors over at Flow, along with his brother Colby. Talk to those guys next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
New name, new players, and an even better championship experience. This April, the Korn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2023 Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be part of every moment of the Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges from April 24th through April 30th. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HTLChamp.com.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Yeah, welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Crawdad is trying to trip me up. What I said is that the A's, if they move to Vegas, that'll be the fourth city that they're playing in. To be a record among pro sports teams playing in 4 different cities, because they started in Philadelphia, they played in Kansas City as the Kansas City A's, they played in Oakland as the Oakland A's, and then when they moved to Las Vegas as the Las Vegas A's, that's 4 different cities. All right, the Raiders, he's trying to trip me up with the Raiders. The Raiders have played in 3 cities. They played in L.A., they played in Oakland, they played in Oakland and then L.A., and went back to Oakland, and now they play in Vegas. So that's 3 cities. That's it, 3 cities. Just like the Rams. You don't get the Rams started in Cleveland as the Cleveland Rams, and then went to St. Louis, or then went to L.A., I should say. They moved to L.A. to become the L.A. Rams, then to St. Louis, then back to L.A. 3 cities. Don't trip me up. I've been around the horn a minute.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
I don't think you could trip me up on this one. I don't think anybody's ever played in 4 cities. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Right now, we have a great deal for you at Zone Deals. And there's about 15 remaining. I mean, these things were flying off the shelf, and now there's about 15 remaining for Flow Supreme Air Sports over on Drake. Place is spectacular. We had our Christmas party there. It is absolutely spectacular. And the Campbell brothers joining us now, former Auburn DB Brock Campbell and his brother Colby Campbell, who looks like quite the athlete himself, but I don't know. Brock, are you the little brother or are you the big brother? I mean, I know he's the bigger brother in terms of stature and height, but who's the older brother between you and Colby?
He's the older brother.
So he's the older brother, but you're the one that played at Auburn. What about Colby? I mean, was he an athlete in high school? I assume he played high school football, high school basketball. Did he do anything in college?
Yes, he did. He played at Faulkner. He definitely had the potential once he left to make it to the NFL. He's got the NFL body that I did not possess. So he was definitely blessed with that. But, if he would have committed to maybe basketball in high school, I think he could have gone D1 and gone from there, because he's 6'6", 260 now. So
wow,
I was not that genetically blessed. But, yeah, he's the older brother.
So, Colby, do you take credit for bringing Brock along and creating turning him into the athlete that was able to go and play at Auburn, and play Division I college SEC football there? Or was that all on you? You're the one that got him ready for that?
I'd like to think I played a little bit of a role there, but I always joke with Brock. I took the size, but he took a lot of the athleticism. Brock has naturally just always been very athletic, so speed, size, power, he's kind of got all that.
So when you go over to the slam dunk baskets at Flow Supreme Air Sports, you don't even need the trampoline then, right? It's like you can just walk up there and just kind of like a little hop and slam. Is that how that works?
Exactly. Yep.
That's one of the coolest things going at Flow. I'm a big fan of. I've never done that, but I mean, I'm a big fan of that. And the basketball courts. I understand you guys actually will host tournaments and things like that on the basketball courts. Basically playing basketball on a trampoline.
Yeah, that's right. We actually have one coming up it's a 3v3 tournament on Thursday, May 11th at 5:30. $60 a team, $600 cash prize. So it's awesome. We've had 2 tournaments so far, and the competition that comes it's amazing. So if you want to be competitive, I don't recommend if you're younger, because there's grown men in there, and they do not back down. So if you're a smaller guy and you're worried about potentially getting physical with some of these guys, it's going to be hard to police out there. But yeah, we've got this next tournament coming up, and we're excited about it.
Now, this is at Drake, right? This is at the Huntsville location. Now, you guys have multiple locations, right?
Yes, we do. We have 2.
All right, so this is at the tournament's at Drake. And so can teams still get into this deal?
Yes. If you're interested, email flowhuntsville@gmail.com with your team name. That will kind of lock in your spot. I believe we have about 10 spots remaining.
I want to do a tournament down there, and we've talked about this, Brock, right? I talked about this before about us hosting a tournament down there, a 3-on-3. I call it a jumping jack tournament, a little 3-on-3 tournament, and we could have like a classification for like under 13 and under for kids, and then we could have a 14 and up or 14 to whatever, and then a master's classification as well, and do a whole tournament down there at Flow. You guys do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Let's get it on the books. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we ought to do it. Now, you guys are both athletes. You're both very physically fit. We were just talking to one of our listeners about, how he got in shape and all this kind of stuff. Doing this kind of there's a workout there to be had there, right? I know my wife, she loves going out on a trampoline, and she's kept in shape at, doing that, a lot of jumping and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it's one thing just to go and play around and have a good time. But I would think that there is a definite workout value to going in there. You could have a complete routine and do something that's more fun than riding a stationary bike or something like that.
Yeah, there's unlimited options that you can do, not just with the trampolines, but we have a lot of sports here. I mean, we just mentioned that basketball court, but we also have a power play soccer attraction, which is actually really cool because of the stadium that's about to open up behind us. So we're hoping we can kind of be the pregame for those soccer games that they have and those high school games, so they can come, warm up over here, get some energy out, and then go watch the game. But yeah, there's a lot of different exercise options here. There's a ninja course, so you can use some upper body, some lower body, you name it. But you can burn a good bit of calories.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Dad, to Tom's point there, a lot of people want to spice things up, and we've had people come in and kind of, get a little extra fitness course type thing in, and, they've done studies on trampolines that said you can burn 1,000 calories in an hour jumping on a trampoline.
Wow. You guys, now, is there any kind of you guys don't have like a workout program or anything like that where, a one-sheeter that has a list of different things that people could do if they want to go in there and get a good 20-minute burn or half-hour burn? That might be something, that people would be interested in.
We used to do classes. We worked for some trampoline parks back in the day that did some classes, and usually there was a group that would show up consistently, but the attendance was the key to keeping it going. And a lot of times they brought their kids and they got their kids involved. But yeah, it's definitely something that we've talked about potentially bringing back. But if we can get a good enough attendance to do it consistently, that'd be cool. So, Colby, you've been in this business for a while, right? Guys, going back in other places, work for other people before you decided to do your own thing with Flow. What makes Flow different? I mean, because I've seen other places that are just trampoline parks, but when I see, Flow, and we've been down there, it is different. But what made you decide to go from, all right, I'm working for these guys, we're going to do our own thing?
I think, for me, the biggest thing was I played a pretty big role. I worked for a company called Circus Tricks, and they're now the largest, private trampoline company, I think, in the world. I know at least in the U.S. So they own Sky Zone. They own Rock and Jump. They've got their own Defy brand. And I think they're kind kind of transitioning everything back to Sky Zone. But, for me, I played a pretty big role in the early days of, building and kind of creating some of these parks. And the excitement for me was always around an opening and like, I wanted to have more input on like the layout and the feel of the park and the attractions that went in. And so when me and Brock kind of came together on this thing, that was what, we were really excited about was, hey, this is our vision. These are our parks. This is what we want to put in them. And, we don't like wasted space. I think a lot of times trampoline parks just throw stuff in and it's all cookie cutter and it sounds great. But, we wanted to do something different where, the attractions are things that people actually want to do.
Yeah, and how many square feet do you have over there at Drake? Because that thing it's massive, but it's very well laid out, the way you've laid it out with the putt-putt and the basketball and just the regular trampolines and the party rooms and everything. How many square feet you guys got?
I'd say 54,000 square feet. 54? Yeah, it's 54,000.
Wow. I mean, that is absolutely massive. All right, so Brock played at Auburn. Colby, does that automatically make you an Auburn fan? Were you an Auburn fan, or are you a Roll Tide kind of guy? Because I know you guys got the two rooms over there. You got the party room, the Auburn-adorned party room, and then you've got the Alabama party room that people can reserve for events like we did for our Christmas party.
Yes, I was raised an Auburn fan. My mom's a grad. My sister, we have an older sister, Katie. She went to Auburn as well, and then obviously when Brock was there, it was so much fun. So yeah, I've always been big Auburn fans.
All right, so all Auburn people. And Brock, before I let you go, we've got the 8A game tomorrow for Alabama. Auburn had theirs a couple of weeks ago. From a player standpoint, because I kind of look at this from a coach's standpoint, from the 11 years I spent on the sidelines, and I think the fans sometimes overvalue what these spring games are about. But from a player standpoint, talk about the experience of the spring game and what it meant to the players, as opposed to just being, practice number 15 in the spring. Obviously, you have multiple scrimmages, but just your take on the 8A games that you played in.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely exciting. It's an opportunity to kind of showcase your skills. Everyone is going to get an opportunity to get on the field that day. So, walk-ons included, it's really exciting. But, even those ones and twos, that's a chance that they get to give themselves some confidence and kind of give those coaches the confidence in them and the momentum leading into the fall, which is, key. But, I was talking to Colby about this earlier, and it's changing now because of the transfer portal. And, it seems like some people are kind of testing the waters in the spring, and if they're not happy with where they're at or with how things went, they'll hit the portal. So that's a new concept to me. And, it's changing college football, whether that's, for the better or not. It's different.
You think you would have been a portal guy? I mean, you grew up in an Auburn family. You were playing at your dream school. You ultimately got on the field and got some good playing time. But would you have taken advantage of the portal, do you think, back in the day?
Probably not. I love Auburn, and I loved where I was at. If I could have played a little bit longer, I think I could have, potentially got more meaningful reps. But I don't see myself being someone that would have transferred or hit the portal.
Yeah. All right. It's Flow Supreme, Air Sports, the Campbell Brothers, and, of course, Off Drake is where you find it. The place is spectacular. And I really like, too, what you guys do, Colby, is that there's a lot of guys that are from a observational standpoint. People are worried about taking the kids and they're going to be running all over the place. You've got people stationed all around to make sure people aren't doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing and so on. And that seems to be a big part of it. Safety is very important for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety it's got to be the first priority for us. We want families to feel comfortable bringing their kids in, and ultimately, from I always kind of think about it through the perspective of a mom. Is the place safe? Are the people that are there actually attentive and watching my kids? Not just you don't want to just have a warm body out there. You want to have somebody that's paying attention, they're watching your kid, they're enforcing the rules, and we want to make sure they're having a good time. And so, if we're not enforcing those rules, we don't have those eyes on them, that's not going to happen.
They got big screen TVs out there. They have got party rooms. A great place to host a party. Go to their website, flowhuntsville.com, and learn all about the parties that are there. Multiple games. They got the soccer. One of my grandsons is big time into soccer, and he came to our Christmas party, and he was in there playing the soccer games and all kinds of cool stuff to do at Flow. Miniature golf. It's a really neat miniature golf track as well, and of course the basketball. So check it all out, flowhuntsville.com, to learn more information. And again, what is that email address if people want to snag one of those teams in your 3-on-3 basketball tournament? Brock, what's the address they need to send an email to?
flowhuntsville@gmail.com.
Flow, it's pretty easy. flowhuntsville@gmail.com. All right, guys, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
All right, there you go. That's Brock and Colby Campbell, the Campbell brothers. Grizz, you were there. I mean, it's cool. You, Grizz, you were jumping all over the place. Me, I was watching, but I saw you. You put on your sticky socks and you got out there and jumped all over. Did you shoot any hoop, or did you just go to the trampoline?
I stayed away from the hoop. There was a lot of people by the hoop, and I just did not want to get in the way. My little bowling ball butt would have just, been in the way. I probably wouldn't have been able to jump very high, if I was on there. But no, I had a good time because they had like a little zip line. You can like zip line across. I'm probably a little big and too a little old for it, but it was a lot of fun. And then they've got little areas where you can play dodgeball, and that was the most fun because it originally started where I was playing dodgeball. It was only me and this one little kid. Then everyone started leaving. And then because we were playing so much, everyone started going up. And then this football team showed up that was having a party there. And then it became this one thing where everybody was playing dodgeball against me. So it was just like, what is going on? I'm getting pelted.
Yeah, dodgeball
but yeah,
there's so much stuff. That sounds like a blast.
There's so much stuff that you can do. I mean, you can just go around and they have like the inflatable like little jungle gyms and stuff like that you can run through and stuff like that in the back corner, so that's a lot of fun too. So they have a lot of stuff that it's not just in the putt-putt, the blacklight putt-putt golf in the back is a lot of fun.
Very cool. All right, we're going to break in and we'll come back. Open lines, 256-5764, 97.7. You want to get into the Degafecta? You can do it. You can also text your team to me at 732-982-7469. That's 732-9-TA-SHOW. When we return, you got to practice what you preach, right? I'll explain next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions, Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
The first full weekend at Toyota Field is underway as the Biloxi Shuckers take on your Rocket City Trash Pandas. Friday night marks the debut of the Trash Pandas Halo Blue uniforms. Fireworks close out the evening on Friday and Saturday. Plus, this Sunday, the first 1,000 kids will go home with a Sprocket bobblehead. Get your tickets for the weekend now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it. Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, West Neighbors, and of course, Thom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. At Woody Anderson Ford, they have a service department that is second to none. They will get the job done for you at Woody Anderson Ford. Whether you have a Ford or not, you'll see the service lanes are spectacular over there, which goes to the amount of pride that they take in their own product at Woody Anderson Ford. And they'll, the garage itself is incredible too. Technicians are outstanding. The paint shop, body shop is tremendous as well at Woody Anderson Ford. You might not be thinking about Woody Anderson Ford. If you need body work done, you need to think about it. And they'll work with the insurance companies to take care of all of that stuff for you. And don't forget the certified gold pre-owned vehicles from Woody Anderson Ford. Just go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see that. WoodyAndersonFord.com. All right, so Grizz, yesterday, right? I'm over there at at Toyota Field to speak to the college students.
Yeah.
About sports business, and they had a guy from the Birmingham Squadron there that worked in the ticket office. They had a guy from the Tennessee Titans that worked in the ticket office. A guy from the Huntsville Havoc, and they had me, right? And so those guys were more on the business side. I kind of cover both ends of it because I do a radio show, but I also handle sales and things like that, and do management for the radio station. So it was very interesting, and the kids had a lot of great questions. So I had my show folder with me because I wanted to, one of the questions that I was asked was about prep, and I knew I was going to be asked about show prep and plan your work your plan. So I took my rundown, which I'm showing to the folks that are watching on WZZN TV now. I took my rundown that I do and the grid, all right, from yesterday's show, and I had that in front of me. So I pulled it out of my show folder, that has all my background, like the schedules for the SEC and other things and so on. So I pulled this out of there, and then I set the folder down on the ground next to me. All right, down on the ground. I was sitting in a high-top chair. They had 4 high-top chairs set up in front of a backdrop and so on, and then the kids were off in front of us and everything. So the question of show prep and being organized comes, and I said, well, I guess the former coach in me, has me scripting a lot of things that I'm going to do in the show, and I plan my work and work my plan, and you got to be very organized. I said, I keep all of my background information in a folder that is pertinent, and I have multiple folders that have old information, and I have the NFL standings for the last 5 years in my folder, and I've got the SEC and Big Ten and ACC helmet schedules, and you have to be very organized. You got to kind of keep your stuff together, and you got to be prepared for anything and be flexible, for anything. And it's key to me. Oh, the kids are all looking at me. They're not. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this morning, I get to the Big Dog Production Studio. I crack open my briefcase to pull my show folder out. I got no show folder. I got no background. I got no helmet schedule. I got no NFL information. I got no odds. I got nothing. And I'm like, go back down to the kitchen, to Junkyard Babe. I said, I think I left my show folder on the floor of the, whatever that room is that, they have up there at Toyota Field, the big room.
Left it so the other team can get it now.
Yeah, apparently. So I called over to Antonio Macbeth, who I trained. Yes, Tony Mac. I trained him I took him as a young grasshopper. And trained him and molded him about how to be organized and how to be, take care of your business and plan your work your plan. I had to call him and say, hey, I think I left my folder on the floor. Yeah, he goes, I got it here on my desk. So here I am rattling on about how,
Professional.
And I got nothing. I'm in here. I got nothing. All I got is today's rundown. I got no background. Everything I do, I got to do out of my head. It's crazy. All right. According to my grid, I owe you another break, right?
No, we're pretty close. We're pretty close. It's probably good? About to hit. Yeah. We're pretty close, yeah.
Do you know that your beloved Atlanta Hawks...
Yeah, what about them?
Who are going to get blown out of the playoffs, right, by the Boston Celtics?
Probably, yeah, at this point.
Did you know that your beloved Atlanta Hawks, that they began their franchise history as the Tri-City Blackhawks in Moline, Illinois in 1951? Did you know that? They were the Tri-City.
Not really. I know the St. Louis
Blackhawks.
Hawks, but I didn't know that Tri-City, no.
No, they started as the Tri-City Blackhawks in Moline, Illinois. So, now follow this. They then moved to Milwaukee and became the Milwaukee Hawks.
We just keep taking Milwaukee teams.
Just taking everything from Milwaukee. Yeah. They moved to Milwaukee, became the Milwaukee Hawks. And in 1955, they moved to St. Louis to become the St. Louis Hawks, not to be confused with the St. Louis Spirit of the ABA. And the Spirit in the ABA came in about like 1971, 72, and they had a 22-year-old play-by-play man by the name of Bob Costas. Why did they have a St. Louis team in the ABA? Because the St. Louis Hawks left St. Louis and moved to Atlanta 2 years after the Braves did in 1968. So, the answer to my own question is your beloved Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks played in Moline, Illinois, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and now Atlanta. So there's a team that has played in 4 different cities.
So then when it was founded in 1946, though, they were the Buffalo Bison.
Who? The Hawks?
The Hawks. So that's a 5th city.
No, wait a minute.
It was Buffalo, Tri-City, and then Milwaukee. So that's
Buffalo,
a 5th
Tri-City. No, when they were Buffalo Tri-City, they played in Moline.
Well, it was Buffalo Bisons and then Tri-City Blackhawks. Because they were founded in
Buffalo,
1946.
New York?
Yeah.
I might call Boulder Dash on that one. I got to double
Unless
check.
the internet's wrong.
I'm not seeing that one. Oh, no, you know why? I'll tell you why. That wasn't the NBA.
It was the NBL.
NBL.
Yeah.
NBL does not count. That was the NBL NBA starts
pro.
in the NBA. Well, the NBL was pro, but the NBA starts in 51. So. All right, we get a break. When we come back, Joey Blackwell joins us, BamaCentral.com, talking A-Day next, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Now open. This is your invitation to experience the grand opening of ABIQ's new 10,000 square foot showroom. The best brands in home audio, home theater, and home automation. The place to see and hear and feel and listen and watch. The place where you can audition top brand audio and video equipment before it goes in your home. World-class brands now available in Huntsville. Come experience the difference. 1833 University Drive, just east of the Parkway at the all-new AVIQHSV.com.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still the place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An NBA championship winning coach and former NBA Coach of the Year has been fired. The Raptors dismissed Nick Nurse after 5 seasons. Move comes after Toronto President Masai Ujiri and Nurse met several times since their season ended to discuss how they might move forward. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports former Celtics coach Ime Udoka is expected to be a serious candidate to replace Nurse. Nurse will become a prominent candidate in the Rockets coaching search. Clippers continue to monitor and evaluate forward Kawhi Leonard. He's day-to-day with a sprained knee. LA's got a quick turnaround from last night's loss to Game 4 tomorrow against Phoenix. Tonight, Game 3, Cavaliers-Knicks, 8 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern ABC. Stanley Cup playoffs. Stars forward Joe Pavelski out of Game 3 tonight against the Wild. He remains in concussion protocol. Dallas hoping he's back at some point in the series.
KZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. At North Alabama Mortgage, it doesn't matter whether you're in Tennessee or Alabama or even in Florida. North Alabama Mortgage has the proper mortgage product for you. And those rates have stabilized. And you know what? There's more value in your property than you think. So you have to get a valuation done by North Alabama Mortgage. It can help you out with that, and it'll help you decide what you want to do, whether it's a refi or whether or not you're thinking about selling your property to buy a new property. And you want to get pre-approved before you go look at any new properties. You need to be pre-approved so that you can your offer looks that much more attractive. All right, 8-day game tomorrow. There's 2 things that I am sure of.
Under no circumstances will I be eating beans on Monday.
I'm pretty sure that that's the case. I'm going to say that, and then the other thing I'm sure of.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States, heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
We know that there was a game that ended in a tie. This one will not end in a tie. I can guarantee you everyone is not eating steak. Joining us now, Joey Blackwell, MammothCentral.com. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Joey, am I lying? This game will not end in a tie, and Nick Saban will not eat beans.
After the speech he said last night, talking about what these players are playing for, the importance of it, and what it means to them, I highly doubt there's ever going to be a tie in an 8-day game, at least while Nick Saban's on campus.
Yeah, I would think that there wouldn't be. But I don't want to, and I know that Nick Saban obviously they want to create competes here. They want to have guys doing their best to show what they've learned in this 15-day process. But let's not overstate it, right? I mean, this is not something that's game planned. This is not something that this is still a scripted deal. Recognition isn't a big thing here because these players, the defensive players, have seen this. The offensive, the quarterbacks, they have seen their own teammates and their own team, what they're doing and scheme-wise and so on. This is really about one-on-one matchups and about guys competing, right?
Yeah, Saban said last night, in particular this spring, there's been a lot of injuries heading into the spring where the young guys have been able to get a lot more reps than they normally would, where they've been able to step up. And Saban kind of reiterated that that's one of the key points of A-Day is to see those first-team guys along with the younger guys get reps and see how they match up. He talked about how, they split up the squads at A-Day so that players can get maximum reps. And the reason he was bringing that up was this isn't the first-team offense that we see tomorrow is not going to be the first-team offense that we see in the fall, Saturdays this fall. The first-team defense is not going to be the starting 11 that we see this fall. Sometimes the squads do get split up and put on different teams just to see how they interact with each other, how they play against each other. And so now there are, of course, a lot of takeaways you can take home from A-Day, but more so on an individual player level and their skill rather than what we're going to expect from an Alabama offense or defense this September.
But people are going to try and read into what they see, which quarterback is with which unit, right? And then who's got the I mean, did they actually I would think you'd want to keep your offensive line unit together, for example. All right, you would want it because you want those guys to work as a unit. You don't necessarily want to have a situation where your right tackle and your right guard and your center are second teamers and your left guard and your left tackle are first teamers. So do you think that for example, the offensive lines will be into two units regardless of who's behind them in quarterback, running back, and wide receivers? Do you think that they kept those together, or do you think there's going to be a lot of mix and match even with the offensive line?
I think it goes from position to position. I think with offensive line, I think you're right. I think we will see 5 guys that will most likely be the starters this fall as a unit. We might see a couple of rotate in and out, but they rotate in and out in a normal game as well.
Right.
Now, when you're looking at other positions like defensive backs, for example, I could see them being split up between the two teams, especially with all the questions that are going on with safeties and corners. We have Kool-Aid McKinstry tied down as pretty much one starter, but the other one is still a little bit questionable. It's same with safeties. Linebackers are in the same category right now, with both Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner not having seen much action this spring because of their injuries. So I think it goes by position, but I think overall we will see a good bit of guys stick together on the same unit.
Do you think quarterbacks will rotate within a unit? Like, in other words, will one quarterback and the other quarterback, will they play the whole time with the set unit, or do you think that we'll see, okay, here's Jalen Milroe out there with what is perceived to be the first string offensive line, and then boom, here's another series, and now Tommy Rees is with that group? I mean, not Tommy Rees, you know what I'm talking about. Tommy Rees will not be playing quarterback. I'm now channeling, Tommy Rees from 25 years ago playing quarterback for Notre Dame. No, won't be Tommy Rees. It'll be Ty Simpson. But yeah.
Way to check his eligibility and see if he can get out there. But I think that you brought up Tommy Rees, and I think if we do see quarterbacks rotate, that'll be a big reason why. I think it makes sense to have, if there still is a battle going on between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, it makes sense to rotate them on the same team with Tommy Rees so that he can get some more experience play calling with them in the most game-like situations they're going to have before September. I think that makes a lot of sense. Plus, you want to put your quarterbacks against the tougher defense. So let's hypothetically say that Jalen Milroe is the starter tomorrow for the first-team offense and Ty Simpson is on the other team. It makes sense to bring Ty Simpson over and to rotate him in just so he gets action against the first-team defense. So that makes a lot of sense, and it goes back to what Saban said. It's all about getting reps and getting experience versus the toughest opponents you can. And so if that indeed is the case, I think we will see quarterbacks rotate in and out.
Isn't it difficult to evaluate a guy like Jalen Milroe in a black jersey because his full game is not on display, right? I mean, some of the things that he'll do for you in a football game is going to be, running people over or running by people and taking off, and that whistle's going to be blowing anytime he probably gets out of the pocket. But it seems like these kind of scrimmages are not really ideal for his skill set.
No, they're not. They're running quarterbacks in general. It's really hard to gauge just how effective they can be because obviously if you scramble out of the pocket, you usually only make it a couple of yards before the play is blown dead in a scrimmage like this with the black jerseys. So it is difficult. Fortunately, we were able to kind of see him a good bit last year when Bryce Young was hurt, and we got to see that skill set. But we won't get to see how it's developed with the experience that he now has and what we've seen from him playing, what the coaches have seen from this spring, because Lord knows the media hasn't been able to see much from him. So hopefully he'll be able to put some passing on display. We already know what he can do on the ground if he's given an open space. I'm more so interested to see how his passing game has developed now that he, according to Saban, has a much better pocket presence.
Joey Blackwell with us here from BamaCentral.com. Now, you're right. The general media has not had a chance to see much scrimmaging or practicing. I know that in our building, we have a couple of people that were at the last scrimmage as well. And, so they've been able to eyeball some of that. You talk to people that have seen stuff and so on. But our friend Paul Feinbaum, and I'm going to chalk this up to just stirring and creating all kinds of noise and doing what he does, at this time of year. But, he made the comment that Nick Saban is liable to be the most active guy in the transfer portal trying to find a quarterback because the quarterback play has been so bad. I'm not buying that. I mean, what have you been hearing that kind of stuff, that the quarterbacks have been awful, and Nick Saban is every day he's just nothing but pouring over looking for some quarterback to get cut and released, and he's going to bring in TJ Finley to be the quarterback at Alabama. I mean, come on.
I mean, Paul's sources must be different than my sources, but I've had go to practices and go to the close scrimmages. I haven't heard anything like that at all, and obviously Saban's not going to say anything detrimental to the quarterbacks. He's not going to talk negatively about them, and we haven't heard him say anything. But even outside of that, from what I've heard, these are two quarterbacks that Ty Simpson's putting up a pretty good fight, and these are two quarterbacks that are pretty close. I mean, they obviously have two different games, but they're both very talented, and both could be a starter just for different reasons. I'm not hearing anything negatively at all. Saban was asked yesterday about the portal and talking about if he plans on, he was asked about players that, that might be heading to the portal from Alabama. But he talked about how, it is important to monitor it. But I was asked the same question the other day. I really don't see a lot of shortcomings on this team. I know this question was about quarterback. This team in general does lack experience, but as far as the talent and to be able to develop that talent, there really aren't that many shortcomings at any position group. So people are expecting Saban to hit the portal after A-Day. They might get one or two guys, but I don't think it's going to be hard-hitting like they have these past few years.
Yeah, and to me, you're looking at guys' skills right now. You're looking at the fundamentals, but there's no game planning going on. You're not sitting there breaking down it's in if a guy can make an adjustment at the line of scrimmage because of game planning type issues and things like that. So you're not seeing that. And I love the last four quarterbacks. There's no doubt about it. Alabama's going to next year. They'll have four quarterbacks starting in the NFL. All right, and the most of anybody. And certainly these four guys, from Jalen Hurts to Mac Jones and Tua and of course Bryce Young have all been. They were all amazing, outstanding. They won 2 championships with those guys. Two championships with those guys. A.J. McCarron and Jake Coker, and Greg McElroy, a guy in the media, a guy that's an insurance salesman, and a guy that's a 31-year-old quarterback in the XFL. They won 4 championships. So there's a formula, isn't there, for Alabama to play Alabama football, get the defense back up to snuff, and win, at a high level without necessarily having a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, people forget about Mac Jones. As far as he was the guy that a lot of people doubted heading into that 2020 season. A lot of people didn't speak very highly of him. They thought that
they were a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they were worried after having so many great quarterbacks come before him. And look what happened. I mean, good Lord, if he had been able to play a 12-game regular season against 4 non-SEC teams, he might have been breaking some records. But instead he got the 10-game SEC schedule, and look what he was able to do with that. So I never really put much stock into – I know a lot of people obviously are a little concerned because Bryce Young is a guy that's irreplaceable. But you just have to give players time to develop, and I just always point to Mac Jones and look at what he was able to do after – it's kind of a similar situation. Mac had to play a couple of games when Tua was out the previous year with injury, and it was a little concerning. Now we have Jalen Milroe in here now, who had to start a game and come in another game when Bryce was hurt last year. And so I think that Alabama's going to be just fine, whether it's Milroe or Simpson. I mean, Alabama fans all the time talk about how they need to trust the process, and they say, because Saban says that, well, sometimes it's time to put your money where your mouth is and trust that process.
Yeah, and I don't know what the concern was with Mac Jones. He threw 6 touchdown passes in the Iron Bowl. Just 2 of them were to Auburn, but he did throw 6 touchdown passes in that game. I mean, everybody got a touchdown pass from Mac Jones back then. Yeah, and even going to last year, as people wanted to look at this as this is the downfall and the dynasty is dead and everything else. Look, 17 penalties against Tennessee, 15 penalties against LSU. They get beat on the last play of the game in both of those games, and more than half of those penalties are mental errors and pre-snap type penalties and things like that. It's to look at a 10-2 season and say, okay, it's obvious that they have totally fallen apart. That's one of the things I'm looking at tomorrow. I want to see everybody get lined up right. I want to see guys not jumping off sides. I want to see guys, not making silly errors. That's what they've got to get back. They got to get the discipline back, which is a funny thing to be saying about a Nick Saban team.
Yeah, I was about to use that word, discipline. That's something that we've heard time and time again this spring coming from the players themselves, particularly the offensive linemen. Their focus this spring has been on, like you said, discipline, but also an intensity has been a word that's been thrown around a good bit. This is an offensive line that really has a chance to improve off of what's been going on this past couple of years. Obviously, they won the Joe Moore Award in 2020, but since then it's been pretty quiet from the offensive line. Not exactly the best lines of the Saban era, and fortunately, they do bring back a lot of experience this year. And from what we've heard from a couple of the linemen, intensity has been a big focus, and maintaining that staying power, maintaining that discipline. And if the offensive line is as good of a unit as I've heard has been happening in scrimmages, we're going to see a pretty solid offensive line tomorrow. And whenever Alabama has a really good offensive line that gets dirty in the trenches, that's when typically Alabama has a pretty good team.
Darian Delcourt and Seth McLaughlin both have plenty of experience at center. One, I imagine, ends up a center, one ends up a guard, but Terrence Ferguson is kind of messing with this as well. Who are the three that survive that, and which one ends up the center? Because that's the guy that's making all the calls at the line. And I liked McLaughlin when he was in there, but what are you hearing?
Yeah, so far I've heard that McLaughlin is getting, and this is just what I've heard, I can't speak to this firsthand, but what I've heard is Seth McLaughlin's getting the most reps at center, which makes sense. I think he's done a pretty solid job these past couple of years, and we have to remember that last year he was practiced at center for a little bit during the spring, but he was still kind of rotated in with Dalcourt back and forth. I think this year they've been really focusing him on improving his game there, and he should do really well. I really like this offensive line in general. I think, you have also Elijah Pritchett and J.C. Latham have been at both the tackle spots. Tyler Booker has been at right guard. And then they've also been rotating Dalcourt and Terrence Ferguson, like you said, at the other guard spot, along with McLaughlin. So those two, the center and the left guard, are still having to be filled, but I really have a lot of confidence in those three guys.
The running back room has a couple of veterans in Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams. Certainly they've been around for a minute. They both had basically lost seasons through injury. Alabama has had that rotation in the past. They've also had workhorse running backs. Everybody seems to be talking about Justice Haynes, and I don't know that I've heard Nick Saban talk about a freshman the way he's talking about this kid. He says he's a really good player. He's a really mature guy. He's really smart. Nothing is too big for him. That's not the way Nick Saban talks about freshmen. And I'm really excited to see what Justice Haynes looks like tomorrow.
Yeah, Saban historically doesn't talk a lot about freshmen, but whenever he does, and in this case says that, Justice has had a great spring, that's a pretty high compliment from a guy about a true freshman. But when it comes to the running back room, they have 4 scholarship backs, on its roster right now. It's safe to assume that, 2 will be on the Crimson team and 2 will be on the White team. Running back is a position that I'm really looking forward to watching tomorrow. And whichever team, Haynes is put on tomorrow, I expect him to make plays. I think he's had a really good spring. I'm really excited to see what he can do tomorrow. Running back just has not been a concern, is not going to be a concern, I think, barring injury, which, of course, is unpredictable. I think this running back room really has a lot of talent, which is saying a lot coming off of a year where they had, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, and they're losing him to the NFL. So from what I've heard, Haynes has been electric so far, and hopefully we'll see that on the field tomorrow.
It seems like there's been a shift, though, in the emphasis of the big back. I mean, Alabama had all of these huge running backs for a number of years. This whole room is 5'11", 205, 5'11", 210. That's not small, but that's sturdy on a 5'11" frame. But they all seem to be cookie cutter, 5'10", 5'11", 205, 208. Did it just happen that way, or do you think that that's by design?
Part of me thinks it just happened that way, but at the same time, we have to remember Nick Saban's head coach, so very few things don't happen by design.
Right, exactly.
I think that's the plan. I think they're looking for more streaky backs. When it comes to the running back position nowadays, you aren't seeing as many power backs in general. You're seeing more guys like Kenneth Walker III or, Jahmyr Gibbs, pass-catching backs that are able to get open in the flat, but then also, if they are handed the ball, they're able to hit the gap up through the line of scrimmage. So I think that's just the way that the position is trending right now. And as always, Nick Saban and Alabama are kind of at the forefront in building a roster that no doubt over the next few years, if these players stick around, it'll just continue to get better and better as they reload.
Yeah, Joey Blackwell with AlabamaCentral.com. Finally, the wide receivers. The last two 8A games, we have seen wide receivers flash that everybody, I remember Jai Hall. I mean, oh my gosh, so this guy here, this is the next great wide receiver at Alabama. And then the next thing you know, he had 4 catches and he was a knucklehead. We know that Jermaine Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks, these are veteran guys. Burton, we're looking for him to be a lot better than what he was last year. First year in there as a transfer. He did a smart thing in staying in there. Give us some names or some guys that fans want to kind of keep an eye on tomorrow, though, that look like not only could they perform well, but maybe are guys that are going to actually be a part of this rotation in a big way this upcoming year.
Well, we've already mentioned a lot of big names, but I think another one we need to talk about is Malik Benson, wide receiver. He's the highest-rated JUCO transfer this offseason. He's been practicing with the team since the Sugar Bowl and has been really drawing in a lot of really positive reviews from his teammates. In his 2 years at Hutchinson Community College, he had over 2,000 yards. I think it was actually over 2,100 yards and 21 touchdowns, and he brings a lot of speed with him that really needed at wide receiver this year. He's also gotten a lot of praise from Saban in the spring, so he's somebody people need to be looking out for. Also, C.J. Dupree, a guy that, of course, at tight end, I think with Cameron Latu graduating, that's a really big hole at tight end, and Dupree could really be the answer at that spot. He was really productive in the time that he had at Maryland last season. I really like what I've seen, what I've heard from him this spring. So those are just a couple of names. I think there's obviously you have the returners in Jermaine Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks as well this year. You don't really need to talk about them that much. I think Jermaine Burton sticking around for another year is going to be really big for him. I think he's made a big leap this year between last year and no doubt it's always good to have at least one veteran wide receiver when you're having a young quarterback take the helm, and I think Burton can really play that role really well for them this year.
And Nick Saban talked about Mike linebacker Trez Marshall doing a really nice job as well. He's a transfer from Georgia. Somebody's going to have to step in for Henry To'oTo'o. To'oTo'o's a nice player. I never bought into it totally. I mean, a lot of tackles, but they seem to be a lot of times downfield. I felt like he was a little light in the britches sometimes when he would get beat in the hole or at that line of scrimmage. And again, we went through this era where these linebackers were huge, 240, 245, all those big linebackers that came through. We don't see that anymore. These guys are like big safeties, if you will, that play inside linebacker. But what are we looking at tomorrow as far as if we want to see somebody that's really going to do? We know the outside guys have been out. Right? You mentioned Braswell and Turner. Yeah. Turner's going to be a stud. They're not going to, they've been injured. They're going to be fine outside linebacker. But what about inside linebacker?
Yeah, obviously injuries also being, has affected that position, with Deontay Lawson, who's been sidelined this spring. I think Jahad Campbell, Kendrick Blackshear, and Sean Murphy are all competing probably pretty hard for that position. But Marshall, like you said, is another player worth watching there. Obviously, he was, kind of a similar situation with Dupree. In the time that he was with Georgia, he was productive. He just didn't get a lot of time there. I expect him to be a first-teamer this year. From what I've heard, Trez has been doing a really great job. Other defenders keep an eye out for. I meant to answer this in the last question, but Caleb Downs at safety, heard a lot of really good things from him. He's another true freshman who has also been getting a ton of praise from Saban this spring. The hype train is starting to gain a good bit of steam for him, and then also at defensive line, Jamil Burrows. I think that he's finally, it's his 4th season at Alabama already, but I think he's really somebody to look out for this year. I think he could really have a breakout season for the Crimson Tide this year.
What's the over-under on how many holding calls Terrion Arnold will get? I mean, is he going to be grabbing everybody again? I mean, this kid, he has some really good ball skills, and he gets dead feet sometimes, and it just seems like he could be really good if he's not grabby. He tends to get grabby because he tends to, get beat a little bit when his feet get quiet. But, now with the experience that he has, you'd like to see him take that next step and be a great compliment to Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much down to either Terrion Arnold or Earl Little for the other cornerback spot. From what I've heard, Terrion is edging him out by a good bit, but I think it's down to them. I've heard really good things about him, and I think the focus that we've heard that I was talking about with the offensive line earlier, with focusing on discipline and focusing on intensity, we've heard that as well from the defensive backfield. And if that's the case, and if Terrion Arnold's been paying attention and improving on that, I think we could definitely see him improve this spring. It'll be interesting to see how much they play him tomorrow. Obviously, Kool-Aid's going to get a good bit of action, and he is as well. But one thing I'm definitely going to be looking for is how often he's on the field and how often they're playing Earl Little as well. And particularly, when it comes to Starr and them and Money and them playing those positions, I'm interested to see where they are on the field.
Well, with all these players, all these new players in there, it's going to be very fascinating to watch, certainly as Alabama tries to do whatever they can to maybe remain a top 25 team, see if they got 7 or 8 wins, on this schedule here, and as the program continues to fall from grace, we'll just see. You know what I mean? We'll just kind of see, Joey, whether or not they can hold up and become bowl eligible sometime before the Iron Bowl. I think that's going to be the key here, because there's clearly it's not. Saban's lost it. There's no doubt.
Yeah, the dynasty is dead. Might as well just write the epitaph. Go ahead, write the epitaph, get it over with.
I mean, it's been like 3 years since they won a national championship. By God, 2 whole seasons passed without them winning a national championship. It's crazy. I mean, it's been a year since they were in the national championship game. I mean, what the heck? Just terrible. All right, man. I appreciate you. Enjoy the day tomorrow. It's going to be a perfect day for spring football. It's going to feel like November football. It's going to be 68 degrees and probably perfect out there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually been selected to be a media coach this year, so
gosh,
the weather was going to be great. I breathed a sigh of relief. I'm literally looking forward to being down on the field tomorrow for that.
Offensive side or defensive side of the ball?
I haven't gotten my assignment yet, actually. I've been asking, but we're supposed to find out tomorrow before the game. So we will. Well, if I find out today, I'll let you know. But I'm supposed to find out tomorrow morning.
Listen, clearly they are not going to give you the DBs or the wide receivers. You are going to be coaching the offensive line, all right, like the tackles. I mean, that's where you would fit in perfect.
So.
You'll be coaching the big uglies, you know what I mean, like me. So you'll be coaching those guys up front. So have some fun with that. And it's going to be really, that's a big part of this. Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele. I don't know, Steele is very experienced. Rees has experience, but still, this is their, they're returning to Alabama in a case of Steele and Rees, moving over from Notre Dame. This is a big part of this, the communication and everything else with that.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And that's whichever side I'm assigned to tomorrow, that's going to be one of my big things. If I'm assigned to the offense, I definitely want to see how Rees interacts with the 2 quarterbacks, with the line. I want to see how his process works. With Kevin Steele, you kind of know what to a larger extent, you know what you're getting with Kevin Steele. Obviously, he's been at Alabama before. He's been all over the SEC. But with this particular team in particular, I'm wanting to see how he interacts and what his schemes are. But should be a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited about it.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always, and maybe I'll reach out next week and get a little recap on what you saw, and I'm looking forward to it tomorrow for sure.
All right, sounds good, Tom. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Thanks, Coach. Let me just say that. I just want to say that. Thanks, Coach. Coach Joey. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you. Thanks. I'd like to do that. I wouldn't mind doing that sometime. I couldn't do it. Chris, because I would actually try to coach. You know what I mean? If I was a media coach,
yeah,
I'd have the whiteboard going. The chalk would be flying, and I would be changing stuff.
Are you kidding me? I'd be there in a heartbeat if they'd asked me to.
Yeah,
I just like to get to the booth. I've never even been in the booth yet. I just got to get to the booth.
You've been to the press? You've been to the press box?
No.
You have not been to the
Auburn guy.
press box?
I'm the Auburn guy.
Yeah, but you've never gone to the
never
Alabama press box?
Not a home game. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't been in a new one.
Yeah, I haven't, even the old one.
The old one, oh, God, I've been in the old one 50 times probably. The old one was my favorite press box in all of football because it was open air.
Yeah.
It was my seat was right at the 40-yard line when I was doing the CBS stuff. Open air. You've got the feel of the game in the stadium. You'd feel it shake. It was just fantastic. And I loved it. I loved it. Now I understand it's in the end zone, and it's totally different.
You're in a fish bowl. You're like in a big fish glass. Like you're just in big glass. You can't open the windows.
Yeah. Don't like it. All right, let me get a break. When we come back, phone lines go open the rest of the way. So now is the time to get in and get your picks. We got a dig effective for you. A lot of people have made picks online, but you can go ahead and get yours in now. All I need is your three-man team. I'm looking for your three-man team for the Sunday's Geico 500 at Talladega. You can call it Digga if you want. I'm going to call it Dega because it's Talladega. You can get in. Give me your three-man team. The best finishing team, three men combined, the best finishing team will win a overnight stay at a cliffside room at the Gunnersville State Park with a $30 voucher for the Pinecrest room. This is a $190 value. All you got to do is give me your three-man team for Talladega. You want to talk some spring game stuff? We can do that as well. And I continue to toss out some teams that moved from various places as we get word that it looks like the Oakland A's are going to be playing in their sixth city sometime within the next couple of, their fourth city sometime in the next couple of years. It looks like they're moving to Vegas. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm with Thomas here from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, you guys are a premier North Alabama locally owned heating and air company.
That's right. We pride ourselves in being deep in the community and helping customers with solutions that they can use to keep their house comfortable.
We do have a lot of customers with those summertime cooling blues, those air conditioners working overtime. Talent Heating and Air can come to their rescue.
That's right. We provide emergency services. You can reach us on our website at talenthvac.com, or you can call us at 256-503-4490. You can schedule a call immediately, or you can schedule for us to come out at another time.
Now, you guys also have the talent to do a lot of other services as well.
We can handle any of your gas piping needs or any problems that you have with gas in your house. We can come solve that for you.
And if it's a late night call, don't worry.
Give us a call, 256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air, let them put their talent to work for you.
AL cert number 21014.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Who knows comfort? Well, comfort is our middle name. If your home isn't as comfortable as you want it to be, we can fix that. We service all makes and brands of heating and cooling systems, even if we didn't install them. So give us a call at Environmental Comfort Systems or visit our website at envcomfort.com. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Electric cars are coming faster than you think.
and that's why we're bringing SEMA Connect to Alabama.
Our team educates you and helps provide a long-term plan for your business. Where to put them, how to get them there, how to pay for them, tax incentives, service, and monitoring. We take care of everything.
Doing the right thing means bringing EV car chargers to Alabama. Let us help you with your EV charging plan.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
The first full weekend at Toyota Field is underway as the Biloxi Shuckers take on your Rocket City Trash Pandas. Friday night marks the debut of the Trash Pandas Halo Blue uniforms. Fireworks close out the evening on Friday and Saturday. Plus, this Sunday, the first 1,000 kids will go home with a Sprocket bobblehead. Get your tickets for the weekend now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it. New name, new players, and an even better championship experience. This April, the Korn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2023 Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be part of every moment of the Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges from April 24th through April 30th. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HTLChamp.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. We're talking about scattered showers. Temperatures only climb into the mid and upper 70s. Best opportunity for rain is going to come Friday evening into the overnight. Could see a couple of embedded thunderstorms. Don't worry, we're not talking about anything strong or severe. We'll continue with the opportunity for showers and thunderstorms through the overnight early into your Saturday morning, but otherwise Saturday afternoon actually looks quite nice. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. The segment brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. For all your injury needs, it's the Orthopedic Center. No matter what or how you got injured and what part of your body got injured, the Orthopedic Center is the right specialist for you. They do a tremendous job at the Orthopedic Center. And, boy, I'll tell you what, Dr. Greco has taken care of my family for years, and the folks at the Orthopedic Center taking care of so many schools, most of the schools around the Tennessee Valley, and, of course, Alabama A&M and Huntsville Havoc, which are in Birmingham tonight to get that series started against the Birmingham Bulls, a best of 3. You'll hear it on Zone 4, and Steve Mulaton will be down there to do that game as well. All right, Grizz, the Jackson County Bama Club, they will be having their annual golf tournament on Friday, May the 12th, a 4-man scramble. It's a shotgun start at noon at Goose Pond Colony's Plantation Course in Scottsboro. Okay? Rick Roden, not the pitcher, not the former pitcher, but Rick Roden, he's the president of the Jackson County chapter of the University of Alabama National Alumni Association, said that we are so excited to get back on the golf course this year and enjoy the fun and fellowship with our Roll Tide friends. All right, Grizz, they've asked me to do my show down there.
All right.
On Friday the 12th, they asked me if I would bring the show down there. Proceeds from the tournament help fund 6 to 7 scholarships each year through the Endowed Scholarship Fund for future Scottsboro and Jackson County students attending the University of Alabama, according to Roden. We encourage everyone to put a team together and come out as they raise money for a very worthy cause. Okay? Cost for the tournament is $100 a man, or woman, which includes green fees, the carts, the mulligan package, and lunch. Okay? I'll be posting as to, how you can get a hold of Rick Roden. His number is 256-628-1212. 256-628-1212. That would be Stabler, or Namath, or Brody Croyle. Okay? 256-628-1212. If you want to play in this thing, I will do my show there from noon to 2. It's at Goose Pond, for God's sakes, Grizz.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I love Goose Pond Colony, man. I've been going there since I was a kid. I mean, it's just a pretty area, and just great fishing all around, of course. And then, I mean, you can just do pretty much anything out there. You don't have to just fish. It's just nice. You can go a nice walk around that whole area. It's just very pretty cabins, everything like that. Places to stay, plenty of places to stay out there.
I will have the Bassmaster Radio Phoenix bass boat in tow when I go down there to do this remote. I mean, there is no doubt about it. And I will go direct. In fact, it's May 12th, Grizz. Okay, it's May 12th. It's a Friday. So if you can get one of the other slappies to run the board for us, you come down there and do the show with me and jump in the Bassmaster Radio Phoenix immediately after, and you and I will go fish till sundown. How about that? You haven't been on the water fishing in a long time, have you?
I haven't in a while. Yeah, for sure. That'd be cool.
All right, I'll get the boat loaded up with the gear of all the rods and reels. Everything's in the boat, and we'll go out there and we'll do some fishing together afterwards. So now it's the plantation course at Goose Pond Colony, which I think is the one that's not. Is that the one that's not on the water? They have two. They've got two courses. One is right on the water, and then one's a little bit away from the water. That might be the one. Yeah, that might be the one that's away from the water.
For a guy that's never played golf ever, I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah.
I've never even been to that course. I mean, I've been to that course, but I don't know the course.
The course that is on the water is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure though if that's Goose Pond Plantation course, because they have two, but one is like right on the water, and then the other one is I think this is the one that's on the water. Doesn't matter. It's close enough. If it isn't the one that's on the water, it's close enough to get me to the water. I guarantee it. I think this is the one that's away from the lake. This is the one that's like right directly on the lake at Goose Pond. And speaking of Goose Pond, I'll be doing the show from Goose Pond next Friday in anticipation of the Casting and Catching tournament for the Alabama Children's Hospital. That big deal, which we are helping promote, will be on location for that next Friday to help with that deal. And then I'll be fishing in the tournament on next Saturday, and handling the MC duties, weighing in the guys and so on with that deal. Our boy Jamison Williams got himself jammed up along with, really, 4 Detroit Lion wide receivers. Quintez Cephas not all wide receivers. Quintez Cephas is a wide receiver. Safety CJ Moore. Those players were suspended indefinitely by the NFL for violating the league's gambling policy, including betting on NFL games. So those guys have been cut by the Detroit Lions. Quintez Cephas and CJ Moore have been cut by the Detroit Lions. Now, the official release from the NFL, when I saw this morning, it didn't tell us why some guys were suspended for an entire year like Calvin Ridley had, and why other guys, including Jamison Williams and Stanley Berryhill, so 2 more wide receivers, they were suspended 6 games, okay? And so people were asking, why did Berryhill and Jamison Williams get suspended 6 games, and why did, Cephas and C.J. Moore and a couple of other dudes in the league get suspended indefinitely? Well, the reason is this. Berryhill and Jamison Williams, they were in the facility, but they were betting on non-NFL sports. So while they were in the Lions facility, they bet on, it was either the basketball tournament or it was the NBA. It was not the NFL. The other guys bet on NFL games. What are these guys? How stupid are you got to be? You're making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to play the game. How much money could you possibly have bet on the game to make it worth your while to get suspended?
Well, C.J. Moore was undrafted, so I think, he was
still
probably trying to make a little bit more chump change.
League minimum is $600,000. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's silly. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense though too when a lot of times, obviously it's a sport that makes a lot of money off gambling that, at the end of the day, like as long as they're not cheating or they're not, trying to fix the game in a sort of way. You
can't have them betting on the game. Yeah. No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't have betting on
a gentleman's game.
The other, no, it's not, but you can't have betting on the game. Cephas and C.J. Moore were Detroit Lions. The other one that got clipped was Shaka Toney of the Washington Commanders. Those 3 guys are suspended indefinitely, minimum through the end of the next season. So they got a minimum 1 year, and then they can apply for reinstatement.
I thought
Berryhill and Jamison Williams are suspended for 6 regular season games. They can participate in camp. They can participate in off-season stuff. They can play in the preseason games, but then they're suspended. Okay, and it doesn't see now. What I didn't like was the official NFL release that came out did not give us any. There was no transparency. It gave us no information as to why did some guys get suspended for a year and other guys got suspended for 6 games. I had to dig deeper to find out the reason that Berryhill and Jamison Williams only got suspended 6 games was because they were betting on non-NFL games. All right. Phone lines are open if you want to get in. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. We opened the show by telling you that the Oakland A's appear to be headed now for Vegas. And this will be their 4th city that they have played in, all right, when they move to Vegas. So some other moves that you may or may not have known of. I mean, we haven't had a move in Major League Baseball, Grizz, since 2005, right, when the Expos moved to Washington and became the Washington Nationals.
Right, I guess. I mean, really, Houston didn't move; they just moved division, or they moved. They moved to the
Houston and Milwaukee switched leagues. Yeah, they switched leagues, but we hadn't had a team literally move. And I remember it was the Tampa Bay Rays. They wanted to play half their games in Montreal a few years ago. Remember, the Rays said we want to play half our games in Montreal. So there have been other moves. Obviously, the teams used to move a lot. There used to be a lot of moves. Of course, one of the most famous ones, of course, is in 1958 when the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants moved to Los Angeles and San Francisco. And those were the first major league teams that were going to be based in the West Coast, and they moved together, all right, out there. And then the National League was granted New York City a new expansion franchise, the New York Mets. And Grizz, as you know by now, the reason the Mets colors are orange and blue was they took the blue of the Dodgers and the orange of the Giants, and they combined them. And that's why their colors are orange and blue. They have the NY, the interlocking NY, which is exactly the same as the interlocking NY of the New York Giants back in the day. And then they took the blue of the Dodgers. And so it's Dodger blue with an orange interlocking NY, and that was that deal. But in 1961, the Washington Senators became the Minnesota Twins, and then Washington got another team, and then they moved as well. It was 1972, the second Washington Senators teams moved to Arlington, Texas, become the Texas Rangers. 66 when the Braves moved to Atlanta. 68 the Kansas City A's moved to Oakland, become the Oakland A's. And then he becomes just the Oakland A's. Charles Finley, who was the owner of the team, he got rid of the name Athletics and just named them the A's. They weren't the Oakland Athletics. They were just the Oakland A's because he didn't like them being associated with the Philadelphia Athletics. But then when the team was bought from Charles Finley, they were reinstated as the Oakland A's. 1970, all right, Grizz? 1970, the Seattle Pilots in 1970 moved where? To Milwaukee to become the Milwaukee Brewers, who had lost the Milwaukee Braves in 1966. And then the American League gave Seattle an expansion franchise in 1977, which, of course, is now the Seattle Mariners. Okay, so there's that one there. Now, this doesn't count Toronto, which during COVID had to move.
He's in Buffalo.
Yeah, they moved. Remember, they played in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Didn't they play? They played someplace else some too. Didn't they play? Where else did they play? They played in Buffalo.
Was it?
Didn't they play down in Florida or something?
Tampa
somewhere?
or something?
They stayed down there or something. Yeah, after their spring.
Yeah.
Dunedin, Florida. In 2021, they played from April 8th to May 24th. They played in Dunedin. Then they moved back to Buffalo. You know, they're messed up
because they couldn't play in their own.
Yeah. The Fort Wayne Pistons became the Detroit Pistons. My Rochester Royals became the Cincinnati Royals, and then the Kansas City Kings. And there's a four-city franchise. The Rochester Royals became the Cincinnati Royals. Then they became the Kansas City Kings, and now they're the Sacramento Kings. So there's a team. There's a four-city team. Of course, the Warriors were the Philadelphia Warriors when Wilt Chamberlain played for them. They became the San Francisco Warriors, and then they changed the name to the Golden State Warriors in 1971. Let me get Floyd in here. Floyd, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic.
And were the Expos, I know they moved from Montreal to become the Washington Nationals. Were they originally in Montreal or?
Yeah, they were an expansion team in Montreal, the Montreal Expos.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I think baseball might go back there. I think that there's an excellent chance that there's going to be two more baseball teams at some point, and I think there's an excellent chance that Montreal is going to get Major League Baseball back. I'm hoping it's Montreal and Nashville. That's what I hope. I'd love to see Major League Baseball, 80 miles from us.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great. I was checking some history the other day, and we were talking about, everybody's talking about heroes and everything. And I was reading up on Bob Feller, and he from 38, 39, and 40, he won 76 games, and in 41, after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, he joined the military and spent I think like 26 months in the military.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow. How do you...
Ted Williams was a great pilot in the war. Ted Williams was, John Glenn said Ted Williams was the best wingman he ever had. John Glenn, the astronaut, said that Ted Williams was the best wingman he ever had in the service.
Wow.
Can you imagine that now? Can you imagine being Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams and you got to go off to the service for 2 years? Can you imagine like Aaron Judge getting called up and he's got to go into service, or Ronald Acuna Jr. has to go serve with the with the Venezuelan army or something? Yeah, that would never happen these days.
No. These guys, no, they wouldn't do that. But I mean, the first thing that hit me was he won 76 games in 3 years.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, holy cow! I mean, I got after Strider, he pitching as good as he did, and only pitching 5-6 innings the other night. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But one more question I was going to ask. I know Georgia's football schedule this year has been weakened a lot because the SEC would not let them play Oklahoma. Why are Alabama and Texas able to play?
Well, that game had been previously scheduled, so I don't know how long ago the Georgia-Oklahoma game was scheduled. Was it the SEC that shot that game down?
That's what I understood.
Yeah. I don't know how long that game had been scheduled for. See, of course, Alabama and Texas. Oh, yeah, they were Alabama and Texas. I already played the game in Texas, so they're going to get the return game. But I'm not sure why they wouldn't have let them play that game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Georgia's non-conference schedule this year: Ball State,